happened to have a conversation with Andy Fuchs from Fuchs Amps, and we were talking about the skyrocketing prices of Tweedle Fox amps. And of course Andy said, well, I could build those, and then the Tweedle D was born. Because Josh is so great at aging things, of course the first thing that crossed my mind was have the amps aged by Josh, lacquered in nitro lacquer like they would have been in the 50s, and age them to look like real Tweedle Foxes. And I think he did an amazing job. And now we have the actual Andy Fuchs here at Mountain Cat Guitars to talk to you about the new Tweedle D and the new version of it, which is called the Tweedle Fox. How you doing, Andy?
I'm doing well, Doug.
Thank you for coming.
Appreciate you having me.
So I mentioned the Tweedle Ds already, but now and you can tell us more about it, the actual circuitry of it. And the Tweedle Fox was actually started out as a custom order from a fella, which was a really good idea. And now then you can tell everybody about that.
Okay. So the differences between the Tweedle D and the Tweedle Fox are not major differences. Visually they look the same. They use many of the same premium components. The original Tweedle D is just a tweaked 5E3 circuit, while the Tweedle Fox is my take on that, which, like with many old Fenders, you've got an extra channel you're usually not using unless you're at the VFW and you got your mic and your guitar plugged in. But by switching channels, you introduce an extra gain stage in the Tweedle Fox, which will give you a whole ton more drive. So in conjunction with the master volume control, you can do a lot more than you can with the stock 5E3. If you run the master up all the way and plug into the second set of jacks, it's a stock 5E3 unaltered. The intent was to take the time-honored 5E3 Fender circuit, which has been massaged by many, including Alexander Dumble and Ken Fisher and a lot of the famous amp builders before my time. It's a great, very simple, very responsive circuit. And my goal in building this was to make it the best it could possibly be, to rival the originals. Some people feel it even exceeds the performance of the originals. Many of them are kind of worn out and tired at this point. And basically every single component is the best possible component of its kind. And the advantage is it's not a very complex circuit. There's not thousands of parts in it. So consequently, you don't have too many parts, but it also means that each part has more value in terms of the final recipe. Not unlike cooking, the more elements there are, the more chances there are to change what happens. So the initial build was just a straight 5E3 with a couple of circuit tweaks to tighten up the low end, give you a little bit more headroom. We're using Sour Sound output transformers, which are the finest equals to the old Fender stuff from the 50s. We're using Haber power transformers, which are probably about 30% heftier, so they run cooler and a little more stable in terms of voltage. While it is a circuit board amp, the circuit board itself has super wide traces, super thick copper, a silkscreen and a solder mask, and they're hand soldered, they're not wave soldered. The balance of the amp is point-to-point wired. There's no channel switching to speak of. To run it as a traditional 5E3, you plug into the second set of jacks, you turn the master up all the way, and it runs like a 5E3 with a volume and a tone control. Done deal. If you want to go for more juice, you move over to the first set of inputs. The other jack automatically switches you over to add an additional gain stage, and between the input gain and the output master, you can do a nice healthy overdrive, which is very responsive to your guitar volume as well. It'll be clean at a low volume, and if you jack it up, also very sensitive to your playing dynamics. Hit the guitar harder, she'll bite back. Hit the guitar lighter, she'll stay more in the clean zone. We equip it with a Warehouse Green Beret speaker, which is their equivalent of a greenback, which apparently was Howard Dumble's favorite speaker in the 5E3 when he upgraded them and did his Tweedle D mod initially. So we went down that path because the original Celestians are a little tough to find, and the modern ones are not like the older ones. The cabinets are made out of real American pine with real genuine tweed done by Protocaster, and he is the master of relicking, as we know, on guitars. His work on these amps has been stellar. I've taken amps to guitar shows and had people double take and come back to my booth thinking they were going to play a Tweed 50s Fender, and shocked to find our badge on an amp that's very, very believable looking. So when you go out with a Tweedle Fox, your friends will think you're playing a 5E3 until you start really revving up the gain and soloing. We're real proud of the amps. We're also real happy about the partnership with Mountain Cat Guitars because Doug's a great guy and believes in quality, and we're happy to be affiliated with him. Thank you. Well, there you go.
These amps sound good. To learn more about Protocaster Guitars NL Series guitars and Fuchs Tweedle D amps, please visit my website at mountaincatguitars.com or give a call at the shop, make an appointment, come on by and try some guitars and amps.